get my mics on. I was running a little late. Well, maybe we got to get the hat. There we go.
Hey, everybody.
That was bad.
And
There's always something that goes
Mr.
on in the
P.
show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to tonight's show. Mr. Poseidon, and I am Mr. Poseidon. Let's have a nice big hello for my lovely wife, always, Mrs. P.
Hey.
Oh, okay. So we didn't have that on there. That's a much better introduction. All right. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Poseidon Show. Let's start off our hellos. And how does that work? By really putting on my glasses. Oh, that bright light. Okay, so Oscar, you're always here. Welcome to the show, Oscar. I'm good to see you here. Gabriel Guzman, how are you, buddy? We're always glad to welcome you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you also for just being a good subscriber. Thank you for everything. Brian Waterman, nice to see you, buddy. Welcome to the show.
New name.
Yeah. Brian Waterman, I spoke to him online. I know him as a new member.
Nice.
Today, guys, I want to let you know that Water Elected Jones, what's up, buddy? How are you? I can't say, just show. Okay. Anyhow, I want to start off by saying today's show, we're going to talk about rods, and I'm talking about fishing rods and rod repair. That's what I like to talk about. Now, off the bat, I want to tell you guys one thing. I own some pretty nice rods. I own some medium-sized rods. I own a lot of rods. So I have my 10 rods that I use consistently. And I always use them. And a lot of times, guys, you remember, we're surf fishermen. We tend to get on the rocks. Maybe you fall off. Maybe you just bang it in your garage like I did twice. I broke it. I didn't even want to tell Scott, and you'll find out who Scott is in a minute, but I didn't even want to tell Scott that when I brought it home, I cracked it, and I made believe I broke it 6 months later, so I couldn't use my favorite rod. I'm just kidding. Scott knows me well. Anyhow, so what I want to say here is we're going to talk about rod repair, fishing rod repair. And off the bat, I want to let you guys know that I've broken my rods quite a few times, the tips, whatever it is, the ceramic glass. And I've gone around, I've asked people, there's not anybody who really does them. So I went to the store over there and stopped by, and you buy these little packages. They're really cool. They got different size tips. They got different size tips, and you're looking at them, and it's like, yeah, these are cool. I could do this. It's easy. You heat it up with a blow dryer, and you pull off the tip, and you put on that other one in the package, and you put it on.
Yeah, right.
And here you are, you're fishing, you're having your best fishing day of your life. The best. And I'm like, yo, man, I fixed my $600 St. Croix rod. And all of a sudden, you got a big fish on, and he pulls that tip off because the glue really, they don't tell you that if you put in a little water, it comes right off. Don't go repairing any rod that you own that you love in a cheap fashion like that. You have to get them properly repaired, especially if you got a $150 rod or you got a $600 rod. It's what you can afford, first of all, and it's what you love. And I have rods that I love. So I'm not going to go out and do these things. I wanted somebody who's going to repair them. So I happened to stop in a few places, and nobody had the information for me until I hit Ramsey Outdoors. We went over there, and I asked them about, read around, and they're like, no, we don't do them here. But one gentleman says, we have somebody who we know who does them. He's an expert fishing rod repair guy. All right, give me his name. So, So anyway, wait, where is it?
Right. So we're going to put Scott on now?
Yep, we're going to put on Scott right now.
Okay, great.
And we're going to introduce him. Scott is the rod guy that repairs, he repairs everything of mine. So let's have a nice introduction for Scott.
Woohoo!
Scott Lewis, ladies and gentlemen, there he is.
Thank you.
Let me lower this down.
Yeah,
Scott, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. And Mr. Poseidon, I really appreciate you having me on your show tonight. Thank you.
Okay. And I want to tell you, Scott, that out of all the shows that I've ever done, Now, I want you guys to be listening out there that Scott really is a guy who knows his fishing and he
pro,
knows
he's a
his repairs and all that. But you know, he made me a little nervous tonight because he's a gentleman off the bat. He did. He made me a little nervous.
Why?
So I might not be on the top of my game, just a little step under, but I'm there. I'm there.
Aw.
But Scott, you're a gentleman always, and we're going to talk about some fishing rod repairs that Scott does and how this all started and everything. So Scott, I want to ask you starting off, how did you get into fishing?
Okay, great. Yeah, I started off. I mean, my brother and I, he lives up in Vermont now. We fished together since we were 5 and 3 years old, and we have a place up in Vermont, and we used to go up there and buy these bamboo rods that were all beaten up, and we would repair them and fix them up so that we could go trout fishing. That's really how I started, was trout fishing. And so my brother and I, we'd buy these like really cheap setups and fix them all up to the point where, you know what, they became really great fishing tools. And I said, you know, I want to get better at this. So at the time, it's not like I could reach out to YouTube to find out how to build this stuff. I looked for books. There wasn't much out there. And I just said, you know what, I have to just figure it out on my own. And that's what I did. I did have a couple of friends who were into the building aspect. I had Warren McGraw-Bunn, who's out in Fort Collins, Colorado right now, Christopher Sika, who's upstate New York, and Patrick McDermott, who's a well-known Bergen County guy. And they helped me a little bit along, but for the most part, my brother and I just kind of figured it out on our own. A lot of mistakes we made initially, but we were able to build a rod that functioned. And then I said, you know what, there's got to be more to this. And that's when we really got into the buying blanks and starting to build rods on our own.
Right.
You wouldn't want to see the rods that I built, back in 1990 because you wouldn't want to fish with those. But I made enough mistakes with rods that I would fish with that I said, you know what? Who knows? Maybe this is something that there's a niche that I can.
Sure. That's how it all starts with most people with their hobbies or their businesses. They see what they're good at, and let you continue.
Yeah, so I built my very first rod, and I put a lot of time into it. I mean, it took me months to rent a store, and Robert at the fishing counter. This was in Paramus at the time. He said, I was looking to match up a reel with the rod, and he said, where'd you get this thing? I said, well, I built it myself, and he said, I got to have one of these. Do you do this a lot? And I explained, like, I'm just getting started, but yeah, I mean, and he said he had like 6 or 7 blanks in his garage that he wanted to build. So I built rods for him, and then he brought them into the store, and he said, if you want to display them in the store, we can do that. He was very happy with them. And my whole thing was, I wasn't about the form, I was about the function. And I found there was a space, there was a market for this because a lot of the rods that you'd buy off the shelves, they cater to a fisherman for sure, but they're also running a business.
Right.
It's cheaper to put 5 guides on a rod than 9.
Right.
And I think that's something that drew me to what's the best tool for the job? I fished in Montauk a lot. I fished Island Beach State Park.
Right.
I was a big fly fisherman in Jersey and also Fairfield County, Connecticut. I did a lot of striper fishing. And I said, well, how can I make these tools better? And I looked at the fly rods because that was my first passion.
Right.
And I said, you know what, to be honest, if I get a fly rod from Sage, it's about as good as it can be. Where I found the real gap was in the surf fishing rods because they were still stuck on this like 1970s cone of flight theory where you're trying to take the mono and get it in a big collecting guide like a size number 50, which for your reference is about that big, and then draw it down slowly to the end of the rod. These rods were heavy. They were really hard to handle in the surf. And after doing my research, I found that this new technique, this new theory developing with guide theory was to get the line down to the blank as quickly as possible. And that's what we were really looking for. So I was experimenting with different guides. I mean, I did test casting. I can't even tell you how many hours to try to figure out the best theory. And the idea is you get the guide, you get the rod, the guides down to a small guide. So when you go out near the tip, it's going to be super light. and the weight was what we were trying to consider for the most part. Is that, you don't want a size 12 guide, which is like this, when you can do it with a size 6, which is like that.
Correct.
So we tried to like reduce the size of the guides. It's not my theory. It's just something that I learned over the years. And, it was just fantastic when I realized the distance that you could gain.
Mm.
But in a marketing sense, Lamiglas, they weren't selling rods that were developed that way. They were selling rods that had the typical cone of flight where it was a 50, then a 40, then a 30, then a
Correct.
20, then a 10, going right down to the tip. But you know what the difference is? The difference is the change from mono to braid. Once we went to braid, you don't have the coils, you don't have the memory. So you can get that braid down right to the blank and then strip it out straight, and you'll get an incredible increase in distance, which
And
is
I
what
just want to warn
we're all looking
everybody.
for.
I want to warn
Yeah.
everybody, talking about that distance. For the newbies out there listening, be very careful when you use braided line. I suggest you guys tape your fingers, because even a guy like me who goes surf casting a lot, you could see the cuts in my fingers. You
Oh,
can't. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
absolutely.
there. So, Scott, I want to
Yeah.
ask you more. Oh my goodness, I'm so surprised. I'm so glad I got to speak to you tonight, and especially have you as my guest on my show. This is great. I've learned so much already. I'm like, wow, I want this guy to build me a gold rod. This is the man. But no, I appreciate all the information. So now I want you to go on to that next section, which is, how did you get into saying, okay, I'm going to start doing more repairing? Because I know you do a lot of repairing.
Yeah,
Not
I
so
do.
much
So,
custom.
so what happened was this happened. Okay.
Yeah.
My son
There he
Brady
is, Brady.
on the side. Here's Brady. Wave to the everybody.
Beautiful. What an answer, huh? What's up,
Hi,
Brady?
Brady.
What's
Hi,
up,
buddy.
Keira? Yeah, look at the kids.
You just have to look
So
cute. That's all.
I just want to know, Brady, I want to know. I remember I asked you the other day on the test,
I'm gonna put it.
and I want to ask you, and I want to say, Brady, what fish did you catch when you went fishing?
What do you catch?
I caught one yellow perch and
Uh-huh.
some rainbow trout.
Yep.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay,
So cute.
Brady. Okay, you can get off your father's lap right now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Jay, stay there.
He's teasing.
All right, Brady, you're the best. You're the best. You're the best, Brady. Thank you. Let's go over to your daughter, Keira. I want to ask her something.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Hey, Keira. How you doing, honey? Everything good?
Hi.
You know, now you have to help your dad out, because he's going to be walking down the street and people are going to be stopping him and saying, "Hey, aren't you Scott Lewis? Can I have your autograph?" And you have to get in between there and say, "Listen, unless you're going to pay $5 for that autograph, don't bother my father."
So cute.
All right. So I understand. Yeah, the kids, man, no doubt about it.
So
That was it. Yep.
There they
So,
go.
yeah, what happens is with the rod repairs,
Right.
I can take a rod and say, look, you broke a guide, I can put a new guide on.
Right.
You broke the rod in half even, and most of the time, or a lot of the time, it's better off just go out and get a new rod. And I'm not doing this for the
At
money.
least you're honest.
I'm a fisherman at heart, and I want to send you to the right place.
Right.
So if I can fix it, I'll fix it. But honestly, if it's not worth it, I'll tell you, go to a store, pick out something else, use the money towards that. But there are a lot of people who come to me and say, I have this rod, my grandfather gave it to me, 25, 35 years ago. And I fished with it for years, and I just want to fix it up to the point where I can fish with it again. And we can do that. I don't care where you break the rod. You can break
Right.
it near the butt, you can break it near the tip. It's not going to be the same tool. It's not
Correct.
going to be the best tool necessarily, but if it's important to you, then fish with that. Because
Right.
honestly, I have rods. The very first striper I caught was
Right.
in Montauk, and I used the rod that my great uncle, rest his soul, he gave to me.
Yeah.
And when I hooked up, it wasn't about the fish; it was about the connection that I had to my
Right.
family and to being a part of nature, and that was what was important. It was an old, like, I don't even remember what rod brand it was, but it was like something from the 40s.
Right.
It was an old fiberglass rod, and I caught my first fish on it, and that had a connection to me. You
Yeah, I
know,
hear you,
I don't,
buddy.
sure, you could fish with an ODM, $600 rod, but to me, that like $35 rod, whatever he paid for it, that meant something to me. Like that
Correct.
was part of who I am.
Correct.
And I still have it. I'll pass it on to my kids. My very first striper was caught in Montauk, and it was a 15-pound striper.
Mm.
After 3 days of fishing, not catching anything, and I hooked this fish. And again, I didn't care what size the fish was, but I instantly felt that connection to my great uncle. Like that
Yeah,
was
I
family.
hear you, buddy.
That's so important.
That's so important. I could tell you stories about my dad all night. Believe me, trust me, the stories. But anyhow,
Somebody
yeah.
has a.
I
question.
wanna answer because there's a people that are asking
Couple
questions, and you can see also yourself. Do you have a picture of it, or you want me to just read them off to you?
Yeah,
I'll read them
read
off
them
to you.
You can read them off.
Yeah. So I have people asking like the Patty Med. She says, "What is the best rod for fishing the rivers of Vermont?"
Ooh, oh, that's a good question and right up my alley.
Yeah.
It would depend on whether you're fly fishing or spin fishing. But, in Vermont, you typically get away with a 4 weight pretty much anywhere if you're fly fishing.
Right.
If you're spin fishing, anything in the ultralight category,
Correct.
Vermont has their stockies that they put in, but there are also a lot of awesome wild brook trout that you can catch in Vermont. And a trophy is like 11 inches. But it's a beautiful creature of God. Like it's incredible.
So that would be
Um,
one of the best rods that you would use, I guess.
yeah, anything like ultralight. I mean,
Ultralight. That's it.
to me, it's all about, you have to match what you're trying to fish for.
I see.
I've done trips to Hawaii where I'm using this 100-pound tackle and I'm catching, tuna that are this big. That's not fun to me. I'd
Right.
rather catch, a nice 8-inch.
A lot of people,
a 2 weight.
love that hunt to walk in the river to see that fish to creep up on it. As you know, a freshwater fisherman, these fish are very skittish. You have to be a
Right.
slick guy to know what you're doing exactly to catch that 11-incher like you did.
Exactly.
And I already know you're a fisherman, Scott.
Yeah.
Another price we have here, we have Brian Waterman, price of rods.
Yeah, so that's a great question. You know what? For the most part, you do get what you pay for. Fuji guides are just top notch. They're the best. And if you want a product that has, the best materials, I would go for what you can afford.
Correct.
You can catch a 45-pound striper on a $16 rod. There's no question about it.
Right.
But if you want the rod to last and you want
Right.
to pass it on to your kids, then you might want to think about spending a little bit of extra money. It'll really make a difference. The quality of the guides, there's so many different types of ceramic that are used right now
Mhm.
that I would recommend just buy the best that you can afford.
Correct.
I think that's the best advice I can give you, because you know what, you can catch a fish on anything, to be honest. But
Sure.
you'll be happier with a product that was built well and that has high quality materials.
Absolutely. Greg Lewis says Brady and Keira are better fishermen than Scott Lewis.
There is
I guess
no
that's a friend of
question
yours.
about that. I took my daughter Kira fluke fishing last August. She caught 16 in a row, and like she was unbelievable. And I couldn't even get my line in the water before she had another fish on. So yeah, he is correct. He is correct.
So I heard a story. I heard a story about the marbled custom rods about you. There's a rumor going
wow,
around.
where'd you hear about that? Wow.
Well, there's another guy out there by the name of Greg. Happens to have the same last name, but that's where I heard the rumor. So
Yeah, so I did a lot of experimenting when I started rod building, and I do this technique. I wish I had something to show you. I don't currently, but I did this marbling technique on rods where I use a combination of pigments and epoxy.
correct.
And instead of the traditional diamond wraps you see, the decorative wraps you see on a lot of surf rods, this was something a little bit different. Where I would mix pigments, and sometime I'll get on the show and share some of these with you.
Hmm.
But they end up, you could do any kind of color combination. With the Ron Ara series, which Miss Poseidon, I know you fish with. I would do like an autumn leaves like decorative wrap, coloration on the butt section.
Why do I feel that
exact-
this is going to cost me at least half my paycheck next week?
it's complimentary for you. Trust me.
Oh, man, too nice, Scott. Too nice. And anybody out there who's listening, any newbies out there, anybody new, please don't be afraid to ask any questions. This is not an everyday opportunity you get where you can speak to somebody who knows about rod repair. And if you fish a lot, it's going to happen. It's natural. Don't be afraid when it happens. Know that you have Scott Lewis in your back pocket. Then you're all set. You have no issues after that. I'm very happy. Actually, Scott, I'm going to be in Montauk, as you know, this week. Scott hooked me up by getting the rods to me very quickly. You know how it was, guys. I walk in, I get them done, Then you're like, you know what? I'm leaving in an hour. But then you realize, and, he kind of did the right thing, and he hooked me up, and I appreciate that very much, Scott. Everybody scratches each other's backs in life, and make sure the back scratching keeps going, because my back needs scratching too, guys. So remember, everybody loves a good back scratch, except my wife. She's always like telling me, get off me. Anyway, so let me continue. So Scott, now I know a lot of the tackle shops, they all refer everybody to you.
Right.
And I know the tackle shops give you half of their business earnings to you for that, because you get a lot of customers. I know you do. But you're good at what you do, and I appreciate that. But I want to continue saying, where now are you located? How are you doing this? If somebody wanted to get their rod repaired to you, what would you do?
So I'm in Bergen County, New Jersey, and if you are interested in having a repair done, best advice I can give you is go to Ramsey Outdoor store, either at the Ramsey location or at the Succasunna location. They'll ship it to me. It's no big deal. And all you do is you drop off the rod. You say it's for Scott Lewis, and I pick it up. I'll call you with an assessment of what I see, how much it would cost exactly, and then you make a decision. The problem now is, let's just say you have a guide. Let's say you spend $600 on an expensive rod.
There you go.
Call the company and you say, hey, I need this guide broke. I need a new guide. That's fine. It's going to cost them, it'll cost you $25 to get the guide repaired. The problem is a lot of these rods are long. When you want to ship it, it's going to cost you $75 to ship it.
That's the problem.
So, yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like, I'd rather take it in and I'd rather repair it for you and do it for a fair price so that you don't have to bother with the shipping. You just drop the rod off, and then I'll call you when it's ready. You pick it up, and it's all done. It's a simple transaction. I also work with Tight Lines Fly Shop in Parsippany. I work with Whitetail out in PA and Starlight, Pennsylvania. So there are a couple of shops that, they're happy to send me work. And, everything that I do, everything that I repair, everything that I build is all as if I was doing it for myself. This is by no means, a way to make a living for me.
Right.
I just do it because I know how. And there's a gap. There's people that don't know how to do it. And I'm happy to help out.
Absolutely, Scott.
Yeah, that's so great. Because I remember when your guide broke, like in the very first time you had a rod, you were just crushed. You were just like, oh my God. And the cost of the rod.
Let's not talk about God into the world, but continue.
No, the guide.
No, I know what you said. I'm kidding. I love you. 24 years. You think I don't love a Scott? Oh, my goodness. Go ahead.
And then we were just so lucky that, they connected you with Scott, because otherwise, what would you have done?
Because I thought, I went in there.
Over.
Now, I want everybody out there listening that when I went into Ramsey Outdoors, right, I walked in and I was like, listen, I need my rod repaired. They go, like, look, once you got the kit right there. So that's when I realized the kit, and I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at it, and I'm going, get the bleep out of here. I'm not putting this on my freaking rod. I put it down, and that's when I said to the guy, don't you know anybody that does it? So he says, yeah. He goes, we have a number here. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was giving it to me like a 007 thing. Just don't tell my boss. Here. He slides it over to me.
Top secret
So
information.
I was like, and then I whispered, listen, I really, honey, I whispered to him.
Yeah.
And I said, what is this? I go, like his personal number. He goes, no. He goes, we use them here. Everybody uses them over here. And I'm like, wow. And he goes, even my grandmother. Now I know you bullshit me. Don't try to sell me a rod. I'm kidding. But yeah, so that's how I got Scott Lewis's number. And I got kind of lucky because he lives a little distance away from me, which is about 6 or 7 minute ride, honey, would you say?
Yeah, exactly. No,
And, you know, the way I drive, it's like, I'll be there in 30 seconds, Scott.
Yeah, exactly.
Eric, I just hung up the phone. Anyway, so, yeah, so he's hooked me up. So you were saying, honey.
No, just that, you know, because otherwise, what would you have done? You would have had you would have just lost the rod, get another rod?
Scott, I was so hurt. I didn't know what to do, you know, and I was looking at him like, it's over. And I remember Bill Wetzel telling me, you got to get somebody to repair your rod.
Right.
So I was like, okay.
When you send it back to the manufacturer, they give you like a time frame. They say, well, it's going to take, 3 to 4 months.
But like you said, Scott, the major is, let's not forget, the major. You got to pay big shipping and handling because, they're not paying for a rod that you already bought from them for the shipping. They might give you say, yeah, we'll put the guide on, but you got to pay shipping. And it's not like a commercial where it's $6.95, and I've gotten burned on those infomercials, guys. Don't do them. But anyhow, going back to fishing, what he's telling you is you can go to Ramsey Outdoors. It's a big vicinity, a big circle around there where a lot of you can get to, and you drop it off. Scott will receive the rod. He will fix the rod professionally, and I promise you, Mr. Poseidon's word, it's not like you're going to try and sue me and you're going to get money because I have nothing. But anyway, at the end of the show, I promise you this, guys. We're going to be auctioning off this beautiful, not auctioning off, right, honey? My wife always says, what do you always say auctioning for? I know, it's a giveaway. So we're going to do that thing where it's drawing 1 to 100 numbers. I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper. I'll hold the paper right here. It's not like I have 10 pieces of paper and I'm like, I don't like that guy. No, that's not the number next. But anyway, I'm kidding. So we're going to be auctioning off this beautiful popper. It's got a single hook in the back, treble in the middle. I suggest you guys, lures like this, when you buy nice lures, you should upgrade your hooks. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to go out there and catch that 55, 60-pounder tomorrow, but you never know, guys. So it's always nice to have good hooks. I mean, this is good as it is, especially you're going to catch, a normal-sized fish. But it's a nice little lure. I'll be definitely giving this away at the end of the show. Stand by. And make sure you subscribe to my channel.
Yep, best popper on the market right there.
Yeah, it is. I love this. I love this stuff, Scott.
They have VMC hooks.
VMC Dynamite. 4 times you're in the bag, buddy.
We have another question. As a beginner fisherman with my 5-year-old son, what kind of rod does he think would be good, Scott?
Okay, so I'm going to assume we're talking about surf fishing.
Yes.
The number one thing I have now, having raised 2 kids and getting them into fishing, is our rule in our family is the kids make the rules. And what I mean by that is when the kids want to go, we go.
Right.
Bring food, bring snacks, bring drinks. But when they want to go, take off. As far as rods go for kids, you want to set them up. First of all, you want to set them up so that they can have some success early. Fishing for snapper bluefish down the Jersey Shore is just a great way to get started. So again, you just want to match your rod to the quarry that you're going after. You don't want to use a big, heavy surf rod for a little kid. It would be much more fun to use something that you would fish for largemouth bass and use that down the Jersey Shore because they can handle it. And you know what? If they catch a bluefish and it breaks them,
right,
suit tackle to the child instead of to the quarry, which is not the advice I'd give to like a teenager.
Right.
Make sure the kid is comfortable. You don't want to give him this big pen reel with a giant surf rod. You want to give him something he can handle or she can handle.
Correct.
And they'll be more comfortable. And then when they say go, leave.
Yeah.
And remember, guys, you're going to break your rod eventually when you fish so much. Remember that. And don't be heartbroken. Don't be like me. Don't go through those first couple of days going to work and just thinking, why? Why did I do it? Why did I break it? How did it happen? Know that you got Scott Lewis out there. You heard everything tonight.
Yeah.
You even got to meet his kids, wonderful kids. You can bring them back in the picture. Call them in. Let them stay there.
He's coming.
There you go. Hey, Brady.
Hi, Nolan.
Hi.
Yeah, buddy.
He's giving a shout out to his buddy Nolan.
Hey, Nolan.
Buddy,
Hey,
buddy,
Nolan.
buddy.
You watching Brady over there?
Nolan.
You gotta make sure you bring Brady a peanut butter and jelly a sandwich to school extra just for him for being on the show with him there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, Nolan.
Yep.
Nolan.
They you know what? That's my focus now. These two.
Yeah.
There's just nothing better than family. Nothing
Of course. I also got the pleasure of meeting your wife. Very nice lady.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, she told me. She says, "Oh, he just left. He's coming right back if you want to wait." I was like, "No, thank you very much." As you could see, I have a wife in the car, and she's going to strangle me because she wants to go get a cheeseburger from the diner. So, you know.
Oh, my God.
I'm kidding. My wife's going to kill me.
We
Yeah.
have another question from another subscriber. What, in your opinion, is the best rod size and action to throw lures like SP minnows and mag darters?
Sure. I mean, that's a nice little spot for, listen, I'll be honest with you. You can't go wrong with Lamiglas and St. Croix.
Yeah.
You know, those two companies produce rods of all sizes. They cater to all customers, and they use top quality materials. There's a lot of research and development that goes into both of those companies. What I would tell you is, don't go to Walmart and pick up something that's, on a discount. Get something decent like Lamiglas or St. Croix. But as far as like the specifics for that, 8 to 9 foot rod would be great. Once you get into the 10, 11 foot, you're going to lose the feel.
Right.
8 to 9 foot rod for SP minnows, mag darters, and then like a medium light action would be, the best way. You want to feel when you have an SP minnow, that thing is pulsing in the water like this. If you don't feel this in your hands when you're reeling it in, then you have lost touch with what's going on at the end of your line.
Right,
and
Scott.
That's the most important thing.
Yes, and I want to magnify that by saying that, guys, after fishing now for so long, so I have basically 2 poles that I use. Scott has repaired each one 14 times. I can adjust to that, and I'm kidding. But I have my GSB Lamiglas and the St. Croix. The St. Croix I have is a fast action rod tip. And I have 3 of them. They go from 1 to 6 or 2 to 6, 3/4 to 4, and I think I have another one 2 to 5. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I love all those 3 of those rods. Those are great. I basically use those for my bucktails, and I love using those for like 3/4 ounce bucktails, Scott, because I just love them. They're great with my St. Croix rods. But when it comes to my GSB, the heavier plugs, especially plugs on top of the water, I can't play with them with the St. Croix. I can't do what I can do with a heavier plug as I can do with the GSB, which is a medium action rod. And just the power, you feel it. And again, on the opposite end, like you said, with the SP minnows, I'm able to throw that with the St. Croix rod, and on the bottom, I can feel that movement. You can actually, like you said, you can feel it. If you really, and we're not talking about 5-foot waves and all that. Nice night where you can feel it, man. You can feel it. So, Scott, I just want to say, it's not closing out with the show. I'm still going to give you a little bit more time because you have a lot of knowledge to give my subscribers out there. So I want to let you continue on some of these rods that you were talking about and the SP minnows and so on, because I just love both those rods that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what I was saying about with the SP minnow, that vibration, it reminds me of fishing in Hawaii, where we used to throw, you would fish with bait and you'd put out an aku, which is a skipjack tuna, and you'd throw that out there, and the fish would do that exact motion. And then what would happen is you would hook your line to a rubber band, and the rubber band would twitch with the same frequency as that bait fish. And then all of a sudden you saw this, and it sped up.
Right.
And what that told you is that fish is getting nervous. There's a big fish behind it, and you got prepared.
Correct.
So when you're in the New Jersey surf, when you are feeling that SP minnow, and obviously it's not going to speed up, right, when a fish is coming, but you just feel something different about the vibration. So it's like tick, 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 tick,
right,
tick, tick. That means that something disturbed its pattern, and that's when you just set the hook. And more times than not, there's a fish there. And
absolutely.
you don't get that all the time, because not every fish is going to bend your rod in half when it hits. A lot of those takes are very, very subtle.
That's
and
right.
Sometimes they're just little taps. It's fish coming and seeing, like, what is this thing swimming in the water? Oh, it doesn't seem like a real bait. But you know what? If it's putting its mouth around it and you set the hook, you might hook up with the fish of your lifetime right there.
That's right.
And that's the difference. You need to feel what's on the end of your line. And to be honest, like, I like fishing at night, but the reason I like fishing at night is because in the daytime, a lot of times I'll just close my eyes, because it takes out all of the other distractions, and I can just feel that lure as it's swimming. And I say to myself, what does a fish want to see? Fish might want to see some steady pattern of movement. They might want to see a jerk and a stop, like with a bucktail.
Right,
and you just have to, like, you can't, and it's amazing, like, how many times you just, like, if there's a fish behind, if I do this and then reel again, and then there he is, like, so many times that happens.
Right.
You just have to, like, it's almost like Luke Skywalker with Yoda, and just like.
I got another question coming in from a subscriber, and Brian Waterman, he wants that. Scott, what's your top 3 lures you use?
Good question. Well, number one, if I'm stuck anywhere in the world, I'll go to a bucktail. Anything from a 1/4 ounce.
My favorite.
Ounce, like, right in there. Put a pork rind on it. Anything like.
That's it. That's me.
That's the only thing I need. That's the only thing I need. Jersey Shore. The Castmasters are great. I do use SP minnows quite a bit. If you want to go on top, that Super Strike that you have on up for a giveaway today, that's my go-to. That thing casts. Like,
I love it.
Yeah, that's the best there is out there. You know what? For different applications, there are different lures. You want a pencil popper, anything from Gibbs. Really, I mean, there's just so much out there. The darters from Daiwa from Yozuri are fantastic.
Yeah, those are good. I was looking at those tonight.
Yeah, there's so much out there. Sometimes you need soft plastic, so you need like some kind of rubber shad, a Storm, or anything like that. But to be honest, you can catch fish on just about anything. It's more, just like in fly fishing, it's more about presentation. If you take a rubber shad and you throw it as far as you can and you strip it in as fast as you can, it's moving along the top, you're probably not going to catch anything. But if you make that thing dive down to the bottom and move up, right now we have typically in New Jersey in the fall, we have a lot of sand eels. So, any kind of sand eel pattern would be fantastic. You just like fly fishing, you need to match the hatch. What's out there? What's your bait forage? If it's a big bunker, you need to throw something big. If it's small little sand eels, then you need to follow that and throw something small. And if you're not sure, then you know what? Throw a Castmaster down at the bottom, put a teaser fly at the top, or
it's a beautiful thing.
Like red-gill sand eel.
It's a beautiful thing.
What's out there? See what's out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Scott, I want to finish this off by saying, because we only run an hour show, and I got to get in a minute here, Scott. All right, man? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love it. I love it that I had Scott Lewis on my show tonight. Very knowledgeable guy. Like I said, you made me a little nervous before the show. This guy knows his fishing, man. And the next thing I know, he's handing me a golf club, and he's going, go ahead, try fishing with this. And I'm like, what? Pulled in a 32-pound bias with that nice club there. But anyway, I'm kidding. So I want to thank you, Scott, very much for coming to my show, for giving your knowledge out like that. And most of all, if anybody out there has any problems with any of their rods as far as needing repair, remember, don't just go to the store and buy a little package with glue and put it on. Doesn't work like that. Scott Lewis, you know how to get in touch with him. You get into Ramsey Outdoors in New Jersey. They're on Route 17. You can't miss them. And he has mentioned some other stores that you can get to, and we will put those down earlier. You mentioned it. We'll speak to you privately for that, and we'll leave it on the description below. So if you need rod repair, please don't consider anybody else. There is nobody else. Yeah. It's only Scott Lewis. So like I said, Ramsey Outdoors is starting to drop them off. They'll be glad. He's going to get them. He's going to fix them. And you can go right back to Ramsey and say, hey, I got the rod and it's fixed professionally, just as the way you bought it and you felt, whether it's a $75 rod or whether it's a, $600,000 rod. I mean, everybody's got their flavors. So whatever it is, and you love that rod and you want it fixed the correct way that it should operate when you first bought it, now you know. Scott Lewis, Drop Off the Rod. Scott, thank you very much. And I want to say thank you also to your son, Brady and Keira. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Scott, for sharing everything with us tonight. And anybody you want to say hello to out there, please do right now. Well, and Nolan also, what's up?
Nolan. So listen, I just want to say, like and subscribe to this channel because Mr. Poseidon is about as real as it gets. Like, this is who he is. I've known him for years. Like, he's a real dude. And he's not trying to sell you anything. He's just here because he loves this sport just like we all do. So
thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Forget that. Just like it.
What did he say? What did he say?
Forget that. Just like it.
Just like it. Yeah. What's up, Brady? Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Oscar's asking if you have an Instagram or something like that.
Actually. Yeah, I mean,
you have to. You have to make one up.
I have one, but I don't really post
on it.
So you have to focus that one on the repair. So when you get the name, which I hope will be within the next hour, we can leave it in the description below, and everybody can get straight in touch with Scott right through Instagram.
But we do have his email up on the screen.
Yes, his email's up on the screen, guys, if you want to get in touch that way.
And we'll also put it in the description.
I'll get you Instagram.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Scott, buddy. Thank you. And thank you for all your repairs for me. Thank you.
Of course. Anytime. Thanks. Have a great night. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, kids.
All right, guys. So right off the bat, I want to say thank you, Scott Lewis. That was really great. A lot of good information. But now I want to also get back to my subscribers here. Frank is over. Oh, baby. What's up? Yo, my brother. What's up? Frank. I follow him on Instagram. We are going to leave we are going to leave it in the description below. Make sure you follow Frank. Frank is a West Coast fisherman. Yo, what's up, West Coast? Yo, how you doing, Frankie? Yo, Queens boy here. You know what I'm saying? A little Brooklyn in me, but hey, I'm a Queens boy. Hey, Frankie. So, yeah, man, thanks, Frank. Thanks for coming to my channel. Thanks for coming to my show. I understand, guys, that last week was Memorial Day weekend. I'm an honest guy. I'm going to tell you just how it is. A lot of people have plans to go away, Memorial Day weekend, have a great time with the family. But last week in the Northeast, we had a Northeastern. It was horrible. It was rain. Remember, honey?
It was just
disaster. Disaster from Friday until Monday. It was a disaster all those days. Disaster. And when I say it like that, it was raining constantly. Everybody's plans got messed up. Yeah, now all of a sudden, here's this week. June 6th, Sunday today. You know how beautiful it is up here in the Northeast?
Yeah, it was really,
sorry about that. It is like, it's beautiful out. It's gorgeous out. Saturday and Sunday, man, it was beautiful days. So basically, I understand that everybody's out there because they want to catch up from last week. They couldn't enjoy it last week, so everybody's out, and I get it. But Mr. Poseidon's always here. Sundays on 7 p.m., and Sunday, 7 p.m. every week. That's the Eastern time. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to thank Brian Waterman. Frank, man, that was a good surprise tonight. Thank you. Frank, I'd like you to meet my wife, Mrs. P. Say hi to Frank, Mrs. P.
Frank.
Yeah, let's put Mrs. P up in the corner over there. Hey, how you doing, honey?
Hi.
Hey, you're looking pretty good up there, honey. Looking pretty good. Anyway. We got out there also. We got Oscar. Oscar, I think you've been to every single show, Oscar. Every single show.
Nice.
Ernesto Reyes, too, another great guy. He's always come to the shows. But Frank Salamone. Hello, Frankie. Frank was a winner he won the Salt X Reel. I'll never forget that. Frank was actually going to Montauk that weekend, and boom, he won the Saltex. Frank, I'll be in, and for everybody to know out there it is right here. Let me move the mic out of the way. I'll be in Montauk. Frank, look it up, buddy. I don't know if you know Montauk on the East Coast. It's the tip of Long Island, Frank. I mean, that lighthouse there, George Washington commissioned that lighthouse. But I'm going to be there for a couple of days this week. I can't wait. Anybody out there, if you see a guy wearing his trusty Mr. Poseidon hat, you'll know that's me. Please say hello. I'm always excited to meet fellow surf fishermen. Anybody out there who's watching my show for the first time, or maybe a second time, please subscribe to my channel. There's going to be a lot of great guests in the future. Let's see, who else we got out there? I will be there the 15th to the 22nd. Frank, you got good news. Are you going to be with the wife, Frank, or are you going to be there alone? Frank Salamone. Yes, I will, Frank. I will be there. I will be there with my wife. I have a scheduled trip with Bill Wetzel. Also up there will be Bruce Bain, another follower to my channel. Yeah, definitely. Cool. I'll bring my wife will also be there, Frank. Definitely my wife will be there.
Nice.
Yeah, she'll be there with us also.
Ernesto's very dedicated. Out in the rain,
yeah,
he pulled in some schoolies, he said, last week.
Right. Beautiful, Ernesto. Gotta love those schoolies, man. I can't wait to go, man. I am so freaking excited to go fishing, guys. Forget about it. All right, so look, we're coming down to the end of the show. I got 7:57 on my clock. But this is how we're going to do it tonight, guys.
7:57?
Anybody out there who's listening, we're going to auction off this beautiful Super Strike yellow. It's got a single hook in the back, perfect for a bluefish, and it's got the treble hook in the middle, perfect for a striper. It's a nice popper, nice big popper. Make sure you use a nice medium heavy action rod with this popper, and you'll get the best action out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the number here. Watch. Ready?
Well, you can't show them the number.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm not going to show them the number. It's going to show you the number I wrote down. You know, hey, what are you going to do? Hey.
You're going to want them to guess the number, right?
Right. Let me, what's that? Yeah, of course. So let me think of the number.
And it's going to be from what to what?
118. Okay, cool. So you guys are going to have to guess the number I just wrote down. I'm just kidding. So I'm going to write this number down right now. Here it is. I wrote down the number. Now, there isn't a lot of people here in the room, so I'm not going to say like numbers 1 through 7,000, and we'll be here all day. You know, we'll be here till next week. Not bad for my ratings, but I'm just kidding. So, but anyhow, I wrote down the number on this piece of paper. Maybe I should write it a little bigger.
I don't know.
Yeah, like that. Can they see that? I can't see that. They can't see that. No, they can't see that.
They have binoculars.
Right, if they had binoculars. So I wrote down the number. We're going to make the number from 1 to 75. There's not many people here. So if you guess the number that I wrote down on this piece of paper, and I'm going to open it. Let me make sure it opens the right way. Yeah. So I'm going to open this when the time comes, and you will be able to see what number I put there. So anyhow. All right, so everybody could start guessing. Put up a number.
From 1 to 75.
1 to 75. The first guy to guess that number. First one. There it is. Go. Keep going. I'll let you know when you won. Keep going.
First one has to appear.
Keep going. Keep going.
Keep
going.
Let me put Mr. Poseidon on it. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Keep going.
You watching, Eric?
Yep, I'm watching. I'm watching the screen. Out of all the numbers that I've seen tonight, one of you guys got close. But anyway, one number off, one of you guys. Hey. I'm just kidding. Nothing up. I'm watching the screen, guys. You're you're very cold, all of you. No, I'm just kidding.
We're going to be here all night.
Yeah, this is going to be fun, isn't it? Guys, like, look, my kid's crying in the bone. Gotta go. Come on, keep going. Holy smokes, I didn't know it was going to be this hard. Wow, this is tough. All right, we're going to have to narrow this down here if nobody gets it. All right, here we go. We're going to narrow. Yep. But what?
What?
Let's narrow it down. Let's do it.
The Price is Right.
The Price is Right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. All right, here we go. We're going to narrow it down. 40 to 60, 40 to 60, in between 40 and 60. Go.
Wow.
In between 40 and 60. 40 and 60. Come on.
Now that's easy.
That's easy. Got it. Oscar Albarra right there, buddy.
Woo-hoo!
Got it, Oscar. Oscar, you banged it out. 56. A few of you guessed 57 for a while, but Oscar, there you go. Oscar, you got it. Oscar Albarra wins the Super Strike and the brand new Ben Stall reel. No, I'm just kidding.
Aww.
You win the prize, Oscar. We'll be sure to send that out to you, buddy. That's an awesome reel. Guys, thank you very much. Everybody out there attending my show. If you're listening for the first time, please subscribe to my channel. We're here every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Enjoy your fishing. Always be safe. Follow the laws. Thank you very much. And Mr. Poseidon and Mrs. P. Where's Mrs. P? There she is. Out.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.